Hey everyone, welcome back to Two Therapists Walk Into a Podcast. We're so glad you're here for Series 6. We're calling this one, The World is on Fire, Collective Trauma and the Search for Hope. This series explores what it means to stay connected, human, and hopeful when the world feels unstable.
Exactly. Each episode is an invitation to pause, look around, and remember that our individual experiences mirror a collective one that we're all part of. And it's a part of a nervous system that's been under strain.
Right. Completely. And today's episode, when safety becomes a privilege, is one we both feel deeply about. Because while safety gets talked about constantly, it's not something everyone has equal access to, not by circumstance, identity, or history.
So, wherever you are, if you're driving, walking, folding laundry, take a breath with us. No need to fix anything. Just arrive as you are, human, imperfect, and probably a little tired. So let's go ahead and take a collective breath together. Inhale through your nose and feel that rise. Exhale slowly. Let your shoulders drop. Notice the air and notice the surface beneath you. And if you're open to it, maybe even notice how your body reacts when someone says the word safety. For some, it feels comforting. For others, it brings tension. And I think about this often. We use the word safety constantly in the trauma field, but it can be misleading. The truth is, there isn't always a truly safe place. Not globally, not even in our homes at times. And yet, calm is still possible. Calm doesn't mean the world is safe. It means we've found a moment of grounding in the middle of it.
Maybe calm is the better word. The possibility of enough steadiness to feel present, even when the world feels unsafe.
Because if we keep chasing a perfect version of safety, we'll miss the chance to notice where calm already exists. In our breath, in connection, and in care. Let's zoom out for a moment. Everything we've just named about calm, access, and privilege doesn't exist in a vacuum. These ideas live inside those larger systems that shape how we move through the world. We often talk about regulation like it's a simple skill. Breathe, journal, meditate, repeat. But the nervous system, it doesn't operate in isolation.
It's funny you say that. I make jokes about that sometimes in regard to our nervous system and how if that neuroception is not trusting, if it's not online, then good luck. You're not going to get anywhere. Your body, it's relational, environmental, and systemic. It takes cues from who we're with and what's happening around us. That's why people living under constant threat, financial, racial, or relational, often experience chronic dysregulation.
If your body's constantly bracing for impact, bills, bias, instability, old memories, that's not failure. That's your body really telling you the truth.
Exactly. And the culture we live in rewards doing over being. The people who seem regulated often just have the privilege to pause.
Those systems we live in, capitalism, perfectionism, achievement culture, don't stay outside of us. They shape how we breathe, how we rest, how we measure our worth. Most of us are exhausted because we're trying to regulate inside a structure designed to keep us really activated and separate. If you think about it, our collective stress responses show up everywhere, especially at work. The endless emails, back-to-back meetings, and those hustle slogans like crush your goals are just modern expressions of fight, flight, and freeze. What we call ambition is often survival dressed up as success.
Yes, totally. Fight looks like overworking. Flight looks like overthinking. Freeze? Well, that's burnout. The body saying, I can't keep up.
We praise it with words like grind and drive, and underneath, it's the same stress loop. The system benefits from our exhaustion. It keeps us producing, buying, striving, and when we finally crash, it tells us to meditate and get back to work.
Ugh, gosh. Seriously, though, this consumerism, and you're weak or bad if it doesn't suit you. I swear that's what it feels like. It's the trap. We've turned healing into another performance. Oh no.
And this isn't just personal regulation work, it's collective awareness work. The goal isn't only to self-soothe, it's to become conscious of the whole system itself.
Right. Because when we understand the system, we stop blaming ourselves for being tired, for like biology, right? I hear this all the time. I can't get calm. What's wrong with me? And I always say, nothing is wrong with you.
Regulation isn't about staying calm all the time. It is about being in relationship with your activation, learning to trust that your body can move through it.
Really, truly, because body does know what it's doing. But, you know, when the world never stops, when everything is built to keep us scrolling, producing, and reacting, well, we lose that rhythm. Presence starts to feel like a privilege because it does take time, support, and access.
And I think that's the shift. When we can stop chasing that constant calm, we make room for our own humanity. And that opens the door to redefining what we know what success even means, what it looks like to us.
I agree.
I had a client once who came in exhausted and just convinced she was failing because she couldn't keep up. And when we allowed things to slow down, she realized success that week was really simply pausing long enough to eat breakfast without multitasking. And that small moment of presence changed just about everything for her. Her nervous system had been asking for permission to rest. And it just makes me wonder, like, what if we started measuring success differently? Not by output, but by nervous system markers like presence, connection, curiosity, and compassion.
Imagine that. Did you take one full breath today that wasn't for survival? Did you feel a genuine moment of connection, even something small, like noticing sunlight or laughter? Did you stay curious about yourself when a judgment showed up?
Those are those real indicators of healing. That's what repair looks like. And it's also what resistance looks like. When you honor your humanity, you quietly refuse a system that profits from your exhaustion.
Well put. Every act of calm is a radical act. A reminder that presence itself is defiance in a world that constantly pulls us away from it.
Mm-hmm. Not constant happiness, but living awake. We can't all access safety, but we can create moments of safety that ripple outward. Moments that say, even here, even now, I can feel something gentle. I can make space for calm. And in doing that, I create it for someone else as well.
Let's move into our nervous system nugget for today, shall we? Fight, flight, and freeze don't disappear in a healed person. They become information instead of identity. Oof. Wow. When you start reading activation as communication instead of failure, you move from judgment to understanding. That's when healing becomes real. Not a performance, but a partnership with your body.
That shift, that tiny reframe changes everything. It's how we begin to live with awareness instead of against ourselves. If you're open to it, I would love for you to try this reflection. Ask, what did my nervous system need today that I didn't give it? Notice that need. If it was something the world labels as unproductive, stillness, softness, saying no, offer yourself one micro repair. A minute of quiet, a stretch, a sip of water with intention. You can't dismantle systemic stress overnight, but you can refuse to replicate it in your own body. Every micro act of repair ripples outward.
And when you do that, you're not just healing for yourself. You're modeling possibility. You're showing that rest, softness, and curiosity can exist, even when the world feels like it's on fire. I want you listeners to consider the following. Where in your life are you performing safety instead of feeling it? Pause on that this week. Notice where your body says yes and where it quietly says no.
And maybe also ask what helps you feel calm enough to stay curious. That's usually an indicator for me that some real healing is beginning. And I think that's what this whole series has really been circling around, the possibility of finding threads of calm and hope in the middle of collective unrest. We're not chasing perfection or certainty. We're learning how to keep showing up for one another when the world feels heavy. And wherever you are, whether safety feels near or distant, may you remember that your worth isn't tied to how calm you appear in a chaotic world. You belong here even in motion. You belong in this conversation and in this collective breath.
And if you take one thing from today, let it be this. calm can be shared. Every time you ground, you make the world a little steadier for someone else too. And remember, healing isn't linear, and we're here for the ride. Thanks for sitting with us today. If something resonated, we'd love it if you shared the episode, left a review, or connected with us on social. We're two therapists walk into a podcast on most platforms. You can listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not therapy, does not replace therapy, and does not establish a therapist-client relationship. If you're in crisis, please reach out to a qualified mental health professional or call 988 in the U.S. Robin Green is a licensed therapist in Arizona, and Stephanie Edsall is licensed in Utah, but this podcast is intended for a general audience.